So it has been few months since I got my Samsung A56, and generally I'm actually mega impressed in this phone. So I only got this phone really to make a few review videos, and I thought I will sell it, but actually the performance of this phone is so incredibly good that I actually decided to keep, and actually it's one of my main phones at the moment because it's incredibly good. And when I actually got it, I actually didn't thought this phone will be that good, and also the camera performance also completely blew me away. So in this video we'll basically cover all of these things, and basically I'll tell you how it has been actually after using it for a few months. First, when it comes to build quality on this phone, it's absolutely amazing. If you look at the price, the current price is only like $300 or 300 euros for this phone, and really at this price you can't really find any phones that would actually have better build quality than this one. So we get really nice metal frame, and also the overall design is also absolutely amazing on this phone. So also what is also absolutely great, we actually do not have glass back, so again you do not have to worry about dropping this phone as much and basically easily damaging it. And also we have actually real decent screen protection, and in basically these months I have pretty much zero scratches on this phone, so it has actually held up incredibly well. When it comes to the style and design, I actually prefer the A56 over my S25. So this 2 times cheaper phone actually looks slightly better in my opinion. So obviously on the S25 I actually get a glass back, but when I actually look and also touch these phones, then definitely this actually feels better in hand. Also obviously we do not have to worry as much about the glass. And again, basically if you actually compare the design on these, the A56 definitely, at least in my opinion, basically when you inspect the frame, feels like even more premium phones than the S25, which is absolutely insane. Also you see the thickness on them is pretty much the same, so maybe in the specs the S25 is maybe by a few percent thinner, but again this the size is incredibly nice. And also I would say this phone also is probably one of the most comfortable big phones to hold as well. For example, if you maybe compare the A56 versus same size Vivo X200 Pro, which again costs 2 times more than this one, then again this feels much better in hand, and you simply didn't have the usage, versus this one, again these camera bumps again really disturb you, and again overall this isn't as comfortable to use as this one. So when it comes to the display quality, also the display is insanely nice, and personally I actually prefer the display of the A56 versus my Pixel 9 Pro, which again actually costs maybe 3 times more at the current price. So again the display quality is absolutely amazing. We get really punchy colors, and also for example if you compare to 2 times more expensive S25, then again actually basically think these displays look pretty much the same. Obviously we get slightly larger bezels, but again when it comes to the actual display quality on these phones, I would say it's absolutely impressive what they have actually put in this phone, especially considering the price of it. When it comes to the power, even though the A56 actually on paper is significantly slower than for example the flagship S25, in real life actually for most tasks you really can't tell a difference. By the way, also I have side-by-side video of these two phones where I basically compare them better, so if you check that video, basically again there is barely any difference in actual speed when you actually use it for everyday tasks. Maybe again only if you launch super heavy games, then only maybe this will basically be better. Also maybe if you start them from scratch, then again for maybe first 10 seconds this will feel a bit sluggish, but once it boots up and it's running, basically again it feels mega fast, and again it feels almost like a flagship phone when it comes to the performance. So again, do not let those benchmark numbers put you off this phone, because in real life basically with this new One UI skin, it feels absolutely amazing, I would say. When it comes to camera performance, this phone is absolutely weird, because you would probably assume that the S25 has got much better camera performance since it's a flagship and costs 2 times more, but that's actually not the case when you put these phones side by side, and especially for video recording, then in my opinion the A56 completely destroys the S25, which is absolutely ridiculous. And basically if you compare the S25 versus any other flagship, maybe the Pixel or iPhone or the Vivo, then the camera performance really is the worst out of any flagships, and generally I'm extremely disappointed in the camera performance of the S25, so I really have no idea why they have actually included such pathetic performing cameras on this phone, especially if you basically film with this phone in very like bright environment essentially, then it can't really handle highlights at all, it completely blows them out, and again basically the colors and everything how it looks like. So yeah, basically on the A56 it actually looks much better. Also, basically, if you check my original video where I compare these phones, then again I have also included samples where you can see that the A56 also like performs better. And really the only reason I actually kept the A56 for myself is the actual camera performance of this phone, because it can easily match my Google Pixel phone. So again, it looks pretty much the same in some areas, basically when you film videos with this even like performs slightly better, but again overall, yeah, basically when you look at the poor video quality, then they're pretty much equal. And again, Pixels in my opinion have the best video recording quality. And again, for example, if you also compare Pixel versus iPhone, a lot of people say that for video iPhone is a king, but actually that's actually not true no longer, basically with the newest Pixels. Also again, the video on Vivo, again I think it's complete trash. Basically zoom and like pictures is good, but again video quality of this one, A56 versus Vivo X200 Pro, again A56 completely destroys it. So when you actually look only at the main camera and basically how it performs, so again absolutely ridiculous. Also, if you compare the A56 versus past A55, so the last year's model, then even though they actually use the same camera sensor, the difference in the actual results are completely different. Because last year when I had the A55, the camera performance really wasn't the best, and it's just like basically like mid-range camera. But again, this camera in my opinion is absolutely weird on this A56, and it's performing way better than it should. So again, like I'm actually completely blown away by why it's even so good, so I really can't even understand that. And also when it comes to the camera app, also I think it's really the best out there, completely beating the Pixel. So again, another reason I actually use this phone for like half my videos nowadays. So if you go, for example, to try to record videos, we obviously have the Pro video mode where we can adjust everything just as we need. On Pixels or iPhones we actually do not get any of this stuff. So again, much more advanced camera app. Also, maybe if you connect external microphones, this works like straight away much better than Pixel. And again, basically the workflow overall, yeah, it's actually better than on the Pixel. Also, again, if you need the best screen, this has that. So again, if you maybe record a lot of videos, personally, again, I have 4 different YouTube channels that I film videos for. And again, I'm actually using a phone camera, not like actual real camera, solely due to the way better workflow. So again, if you need the best video recording phone on a cheap phone, I really have no idea how and why this phone is so good for that. By the way, if we compare the selfie camera and ultrawide versus flagship phones such as Pixel or maybe iPhone, then obviously the quality on those would be slightly better. But again, for the average person, I do not think you would actually basically find much problems with those as well. But when it comes to the main camera sensors, I really have no idea how this phone actually is performing so good. And again, so I think it's really just almost as good as my Pixel. And if you again compare versus S25, this is actually much better when it comes to main camera sensor. So absolutely ridiculous. When it comes to the battery life, this phone also is absolutely amazing. First, we get 5000 mAh of battery. And also what's great, we actually get 45 watts of charging speed. So if you compare to the more expensive S25, this one only gets 25 watts. So again, this completely destroys that one as well. And when it comes to the actual battery life, actually see that the battery life is actually slightly better on this A56 versus S25. Obviously also the battery size internally is bigger, but also I find basically when you actually push this phone a bit more, it doesn't overheat as much as this one. For example, when you actually try to record videos with this one or play some games, especially over here, basically it gets noticeably like warm, sometimes even like hot. Versus this one, I find it's more stable. So again, I think maybe the like thermal management is maybe slightly better on this one. Maybe it has got more efficient CPU. Obviously, it's not as powerful. So again, for overall, like basically if you yeah, basically for everyday usage, I think this stays even more cooler than the S25, and that also translates in slightly better battery life, which is absolutely awesome. And out of all phones, I really think these Samsung budget phones have really the best battery life out there. If you compare to the Pixel, again, this has got much better like runtime as well. And really, I think the only phone that has like better battery life would be the Vivo X200 Pro. But again, that is like 2 times more expensive and also like even more bigger battery inside. So if you need like a phone with really decent battery life, this again is incredibly hard to beat. And overall, should you maybe get the A56 or maybe you should get some other phone in this price range? Well, really, if you look at the price, so like $300 or euros for this thing, really nothing actually comes close to this phone. Maybe some Xiaomi Poco phones on paper, they would appear like more powerful and better, but when you actually use those phones side by side, then this obviously still way better. We have like decent software on this phone, it's nice and fast and snappy. Also the cameras really are the best out of any phone at this price. So again, I really do not know any other phones that could even beat the cameras that you get on the A56, so it's that good. Also the display really is the best I have seen basically on any phone, and if you compare to like more expensive phones from other brands, I think the display quality is even better than on those. And again, if you compare the display versus the S25, then again there isn't that much difference when it comes to the quality and yeah, basically how it actually performs in real life. So maybe if you only check some benchmarks online, you haven't actually used this phone, you won't probably think much of it, since yeah, you do not have experience with it. But after actually using this phone for some while, I'm actually completely blown away by just how good this phone is. And I think for like 99% of people, really they shouldn't even pay more and simply get this phone. It's that good. So Meg premium build quality, so metal frame, nice buttons, the overall look is very nice, nice charging speeds, nice battery life, excellent camera, so top of the line display really. Okay, maybe the bezels aren't basically as pretty maybe as on like 3 times more expensive phone, but again, you will probably forget about that in maybe like 10 seconds. So overall, for this price, I think it's absolutely ridiculous value for money, and really no other phone in market even comes close to this phone. And again, if you want really good cameras, again, I really have no idea how it's actually so good when it comes to cameras, completely beating even the S25. Yeah, anyway, good luck.